Yours. What? Motto. What's your motto? Who do you? What is your motto, and what's your motto in life, and what is your how is that how does that inspire you to get by your day? And the second question I want to ask, and what I'm going to talk about is, who do you who inspires you, and why? And I'm going to be pointing out my story in a little bit. Now, everyone knows that I am hard of hearing, OHI, which stands for other health, should be OHC, other health complications, and LD, which is learning disorder. I have always embraced something that is very unique, is somebody else's motto, and I take it very seriously. Now, I'm uninspired every day by Jimmy V's speech, and I think for people that know me but don't know Jimmy V, he was a head basketball coach for North Carolina State back in the 80s. Won the national championship in 1983. He was a broadcaster for ESPN in the late 80s, early 90s before his death. In 1993, he won the first annual Arthur Ashe Courage Award at the very first ESPYs when he was diagnosed with cancer. He said the 7 most pointed words ever uttered in any speech anywhere. Unquote. By Stuart Scott. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. And that speech is like the most inspirational thing you'll ever listen to if you listen to it. And I take his motto very serious because it's not just it's for everything. It's for everyone that has struggled. I take it very personally for me because I'm dealing with a lot. I deal with a lot in my life. I deal with struggling in school and then overcoming it and doing well. I'm 4 semesters away from going to student teaching. So I'm very pleased about that. And I'm very happy about that. But I think one thing is I've seen in my 4 years at Merrill High School, my 7 years I should say, 3 as an assistant coach and 4 as a student. But I watched every other special kid with learning disorder or special need walk around the hallways, and I think to myself, wow, they're studying their own story. They're embracing their own story. And I'm not like them because that's their own story. I am my own story. But to be with those great students, that's saying something. But I think the other thing is, and Stuart Scott said personally at the ESPYs before in 2015. Fact check me, please. I don't know a year. But he said to be honored. To be honored with the award, the Jimmy V Perseverance Award, I now have a responsibility to also not ever give up. Unquote. I think that's what I'm saying with my quote being Jimmy D's quote. Is I'm taking his quote, and now I have a responsibility for myself and him and that quote to never give up. And it's special. It's special to live by that every day. To go to school, to go to work at Whitefish Bay and do something that you never even dreamed of doing, which is coaching. Because before I get to who inspires me, my parents, my doctors, everyone in my entire family thought he's not going to live. He's not even going to be. He couldn't. He can't. He's not going to be able to walk. And I'm on two legs, coaching, yelling, screaming. I'm being a student, almost graduating. It's kind of a miracle. I think now to the inspiration part. Who inspires you to be yourself and to be better? I think there are three people. There's actually four people. Well, five people. Five people. Sorry, but five people. I have a lot of people that inspire me. And that I inspire them, but not these five people. Number one is basically my sister. My little sister. We don't get along. She annoys the hell out of me, and I annoy the hell out of her. I'm kidding. But she does inspire me. I'm the one that always screws up. Well, not really, but always gets into a rough spot, and she knows what she's doing. That inspires me to do the same thing as her, like getting a job, getting a good education, doing well in school, because she's awesome. She's a perfect role model for me. She's inspires me every day. So thank you, sis. Number two is my special education one of my special education teachers at Merrill High School, who was at Merrill High School. Now she's at Lincoln Hills. Is Amy Heimel, Miss Heimel. She always taught me to be myself, be sort of myself and strive for my goals rather than worrying about the crap that's going on around you. Always the other thing she always did was she always said, "How can you fix your mistakes?" And yes, I'll be the first to admit I made a lot of mistakes at middle high school, particularly the middle finger. And Miss Heimel and Sean Schultz and Kurt Soderberg know exactly what I'm talking about. Sorry, I haven't done that anymore. So I'm a little mature now. But I'm very grateful for her because she inspires me to be a special education teacher in my own rights, because I am now advocating for people who are deaf and hard of hearing, who are LD like myself, mentoring them, doing all this, and I love it. I personally love it, and I just love it. And I meet teachers, I meet special education teachers that are in the North Shore Conference, and particularly at Whitefish Bay, and I just cannot wait to have my own classroom. So, Amy, thank you. The third one is a tie between three people, and it has to do with basketball. My passion for basketball, my passion for basketball is always my number one thing. Unfortunately, I can't play the game. I can't play any contact sports due to a VP shunt, which is ventricle placement shunting. Um, it sucks, but I overcome it, and I started in 2007 by a guy who recently ended his college, sort of his college thing with with college coaching days, and went back to high school. By a man named Mr. Kurt Soderberg, who's now a principal at St. Croix Central. Um, I'm like, do I really want to be, a student assistant for, you know, um, and I felt like I was sort of making, a tough decision. Well, no, it was the total opposite. I made the best decision in my entire life. The number one best decision in my entire life. Next to number two, which I'll get into in a moment. Working for him and learning from him was the best thing ever. The best thing ever. He was my Woody Hayes. He taught me how to be a coach. He has always inspired me to be a better coach each and every day. And it's a blessing that I was taught by him. So thank you. Number two is Chris Mindler, Coach Mindler at Whitefish Bay, my current guy that I look up to as being a better coach. I met him in 2015. The second best thing ever. He has given me a new life for the game of basketball. With the new shoes. Yeah, the new shoes. But he has given me sort of the new attitude for coaching. And it kind of will say it from what Kurt said. Kurt said this one day to me, and he said, my brother Brad Soderberg, who's the coach at, who's now the assistant coach at University of Virginia, was ready to go to the UW Green Bay with Dick Bennett, his mentor. And Dick said, you're not coming with me. You need to learn from somebody else before you come back. And that's what I'm kind of doing right now. I'm learning from somebody else who I admire and I have great respect for. So, again, thank you, Kurt. And I really do thank you. But Chris has done everything for me, and I cannot be thankful enough. He's the best thing, second best thing that's ever happened to my life. So I'm going to leave you off with this. Again, what is your motto that you live by, and who inspires you to be better every day? Answer those.